Okay, this should be interesting. Jin has officially launched her new agency. Yes, she did. And the new agency is called OK. And the timing is interesting. She did this just days before the first court ruling on the exclusive contract disputes involving NewJeans. And, you know, when you start piecing together the corporate filings, property purchase records, and construction timeline in Shinsadong in Seoul City, the picture looks more calculated, it turns out. And a building was quietly purchased through another company more than a year ago. And construction began almost immediately. And right before the verdict, news of this new agency by Jin spread through the media in a highly coordinated way, along with a carefully timed logo reveal by Jin herself on her social media. So here's something that nobody asked for, but I will nevertheless be covering in a video because I know some of you, many of you actually, are still interested in this issue. Okay, so let's start here. So there was an article that came out on October 24th, 2025, a couple days ago in Korea, titled Jin prepares to recruit NewJeans, launches new agency OK. Now, here is a photo that this media agency decided to include in their article. OK, spelled as OOAK, established in October 2025. Address: Seoul City, Gangnam District, Shinsadong. CEO: Jin. The initial capital, 30 million Korean won. By the way, 30, 100, 1000만, 10만, 100만, 1000만. KRW to USD. That's about 20,000 US dollars. All right, according to current, currency. Now back to the article. Let me read you this article. Former ADOR CEO Jin has launched a new entertainment company called OK about a year after she voluntarily left ADOR. With the first voluntarily, we should put quotes around voluntarily. With the first trial verdict on the validity of the exclusive contract between ADOR and NewJeans scheduled for the end of this month, many in the industry believe Jin set up the new company in preparation to recruit the group if the court rules in the members' favor. According to the cultural content industry on the October 24th, Jin completed the corporate registration of OK, spelled as OOAK, on October 16th. The company's business scope includes celebrity management, music production and distribution, and event planning. This marks Jin's first business move since leaving ADOR in November 2024. The company is located near Garosu-gil in Shinsadong, Gangnam. Right here. Okay. Here is Seoul City, everyone, at the heart of the Korean Peninsula. And Jin's new office, for those of you who are interested, is right here. And we'll talk about the building and address later in the video because there's something interesting going on. Okay? So, the company's address located near Garosu-gil in Shinsadong, Gangnam. The building is still under construction, the article says, though it appears to be in its final phase. Once the temporary occupancy is approved, operations are expected to begin there. And why do they say that? Because, well, the photo that they included in this article, there are still like ladders and construction stuff going on, but the article says that it might be finished fairly soon. Now, the article says, it will be difficult for HYBE to claim a violation of a non-compete clause. HYBE has already terminated the shareholder agreement with Jin and has filed a lawsuit to confirm the termination. The original non-compete clause was part of that shareholder agreement, which is currently being litigated. No additional non-compete clause was added afterward. As a result, the fate of OK will likely hinge on the upcoming court ruling. ADOR's lawsuit over the termination of exclusive contracts with NewJeans members is set to receive its first verdict on October 30th. This lawsuit is separated from the legal dispute between HYBE and NewJeans. If, the article says, if the court sides with the NewJeans members, meaning, if they make a ruling in favor of NewJeans members, NewJeans could use OK to bring them under her management. However, ADOR could file a damage claim, arguing that the members unilaterally stopped their activities. This would likely lead to further legal battles between NewJeans, the members, and ADOR. NewJeans has been inactive for about a year. In November 2024, the members notified ADOR that they intended to terminate their exclusive contract with HYBE. And in January 2025, they attempted to rebrand as NJZ and continue their activities. In response, ADOR filed for an injunction. In May, the court ruled that if the members performed without ADOR's prior approval, they would have to pay 1 billion Korean won per person for each violation. Thanks for the summary. HYBE invested 21.5 billion Korean won in ADOR when it was established in 2021, and NewJeans has been its only artist. This investment was effectively aimed at building the group. Debuting in 2022, NewJeans quickly became a major commercial success, generating cumulative revenue of 240.7 billion Korean won between 2022 and 2024. Had they not halted activities, they were expected to continue bringing in massive revenue this year. If the court rules in ADOR's favor, the article says, NewJeans will not be able to recruit the group. The exclusive contract between ADOR and NewJeans is valid until July 2029 and could be extended to cover the inactive period. In this scenario, NewJeans would need to pay damages to ADOR, estimated to be in the hundreds of billions of Korean won, if she wants to sign the group. NewJeans would then either need to secure outside investors to cover the penalty or focus on developing new artists under OK. Launching new talents would also require significant upfront investment. Currently, OK's registered capital is 30 million Korean won. While NewJeans' situation differs, there is a notable precedent. Lee Soo-man, former head of SM Entertainment, established Blooming Grace in Korea. Blooming Grace. Blooming Grace. And I've heard of A2O Entertainment in the US. Okay, Blooming Grace is a holding company that supports his new ventures, including his international entertainment company, A2O Entertainment. Okay. And the article says, he did that after selling his SM stake to HYBE. He later debuted a 5-member multinational girl group called A2O May, I have heard of that, in late 2024 in the US and China. Yeah, he's still paying attention to the Chinese market a lot. Anyways, so that was the article written by journalists named Kim Jin-bae and Kim Tae-ho of the media agency called, I think it's like Top News or something, Newsroom. News Top Korea. That was the name of the media agency. Now, what I noticed was that, well, first of all, what do you guys think? When a story like this suddenly floods Korean portals, and that's what happened. That on the day, there were more than 60 articles came out talking about the issue all at once, in less than 24 hours. That's rarely organic, you know what I'm saying? Because, and in the entertainment industry, That kind of media saturation is usually the result of either like a coordinated press release sent out through a multiple PR distribution list at the same time, or friendly reporters who were briefed ahead of time under embargo, or deliberate keyword targeting to dominate trending search terms on major portals. And I think in this case, the timing is especially interesting. You know, the company registration news hits right before the first instance verdict on the exclusive contract dispute between NewJeans and ADOR, which is going to happen on October 30th, in a few days. So that makes it likely that this was I don't know, signaling play from NewJeans' side, like a way to remind the public and maybe the industry that she's ready to move if the court decision goes her way. And yes, mainstream public interest has cooled dramatically since the initial controversy. Okay, of course, there are still people highly interested in this issue, but I think if we're talking about the general public, GP, most of them no longer care. You know what I'm saying? Although I'm pretty sure Minijin will try her best to make it seem like the public still supports her. But whatever. Now, but PR pushes like this aren't necessarily aimed at the general public anyway, because they are often aimed at investors and industry insiders to show that she's still a viable player. And I don't know, potential recruits, maybe, including artists or staff, signaling a stable foundation. And maybe, yeah, the quarter of opinion as well, ahead of a high stakes ruling. So even if the average person doesn't care, this wave of articles, like I see 44 here, 10 here, 11 here, so a total of more than 60 articles. It can still serve her camp's goals, Minijin's camp's goals. So it's less about going viral, more about strategic positioning. So that might be a possibility. And plus, obviously, this is not something that she wants to hide, because journalist Lee Jung-guk of Hangyeole also covered this issue very proudly. Now, here's another article that I found. It's quite interesting. Minijin, who recently launched a new entertainment agency, revealed the meaning behind the company name just 3 hours after the news broke. On October 24th, Minijin posted several images on her personal account, Instagram, without any caption. The images showed sketches, including the phrase, "only one always known." Okay. OOAK, I guess, and OOAK Records, which are believed to be candidates for the company's logo. Wow. No comments from me. The article says, the phrase "only one always known" can be interpreted in multiple ways depending on the context. And here's some interpretations that this article provided on behalf of Minijin. The one you have always known, the one in your heart, the true self, or the unchanging truth. Okay, so that was a fairly short article, and again, these are the images that Minijin posted online on social media on her Instagram account. So, I mean, this part of the rollout really reinforces the idea that the launch was choreographed, right? Not spontaneous. And the fact that she shared designed logo sketches, quote unquote designed, just 3 hours after the initial media wave is pretty telling, right? Because this wasn't just the press picking up on a business registration. It looks like a pre-planned campaign designed to create momentum. I don't know, maybe that's not the case, but it kind of seems like. Now, here is, shall we talk about this one? Okay, here's another article that came out. I will just read you So I forgot to include a screenshot of that. But there are some journalists pointing out the risk factors remaining for Minijin, regardless of the outcome of the court decision to be happening on October 30th. Okay, so it goes something like this. Minijin's new agency could face heavy penalty even if she wins NewJeans. This is Minijin's first official move since stepping down as an internal director at ADOR in November last year. Industry insiders believe this signals her intention to bring NewJeans under her wing if the group wins its lawsuit to terminate their exclusive contract. The court is scheduled to deliver its first instance ruling on October 30th regarding the validity of the exclusive contract between ADOR and the NewJeans members. If the court sides with NewJeans, Minijin could support their activities through her new company, OK. But even with a win, the road won't be smooth, the article points out. The court previously ruled that if the members engaged in independent activities without ADOR's prior approval, they must pay 1 billion Korean won per person for each violation. This means even if the contract is nullified, ADOR could file a damages suit on the group on the grounds that the group unilaterally halted activities. Kind of related to what the previous article said, right? An industry official said, even if NewJeans returns to Minijin, the penalty and damages could amount to a massive figure. Without securing investors or developing new artists alongside them, OK would struggle to get off the ground quickly. Since Minijin's departure, ADOR has managed NewJeans as its only artist. HYBE invested, we already talked about that. In the end, the article says, in the end, this first instance ruling will be a critical turning point for both Minijin and NewJeans. Even if the group wins and returns to her side, another legal battle likely awaits. So, this article that I just read you strips away, some of the poetic PR framing and gets closer to the real stakes of the situation. Because winning the lawsuit wouldn't mean a clean break for NewJeans or Minijin, because it would just open a new phase of legal and financial conflict. And that 1 billion Korean won per member per performance clause is pretty huge, because even if the contract is voided, ADOR could still demand damages on the grounds of unilateral suspension of activity. So if ADOR chooses to pursue that aggressively, it could delay or block any immediate relaunch under Minijin's new label. Unless Minijin brings in a serious investor, OK cannot absorb that kind of penalty alone. And her public messaging may be about, creative return, but behind the scenes, this is a legal and capital-heavy strategy, right? War or conflict or chess game, whatever you call it. And even if they lose the exclusive contract, they still hold legal tools to keep NewJeans tied up or make a comeback costly. So yeah, the ruling on October 30th might look like a decisive moment for them. But in reality, it's more like the opening move in a much longer legal war. And now, here's something fascinating. This image circulated online after the media talked about Minijin's new agency. Okay, and it seems like showing. It looks like an official corporate registration document for OK, the Minijin's new agency. And this image isn't from a verifiable official source, so it should be treated as unconfirmed. But if it's real, it provides some notable details because, first of all, here it says OK with CEO Minijin, and it says established on October 16th, and it has the address, indeed, the same area as the article mentioned. And key information shown in this document floating around online. First of all, company name is OK Corporation, LTD, address Seoul City, Gangnam District, 신사동, capital 30 million Korean won, 30,000 shares at 1,000 Korean won per share. Business purposes, entertainment management, like singers, actors, models, etc., music production and distribution, concerts and event planning, advertising, publication and media production, intellectual property leasing and licensing, film, video content production, broadcasting and program production, mobile platform and content development, game development and distribution, telecommunications business, food and beverage sales, including F&B, manufacturing and retail, a restaurant and cafe business, lodging business, travel business, construction, landscaping, and urban planning. Okay, so it's a very broad business scope. Okay, but it's common for Korean entertainment companies to include a few side businesses in their registration, like merchandise, IP licensing, or events. But this one might be unusually broad because it includes like food manufacturing, F&B, retail, lodging, and even like traveling. So this suggests that Minijin or her legal team deliberately set up a flexible structure that can later expand into lifestyle, hospitality, or branded spaces. And 30 million Korean won is a pretty modest amount, especially considering her previous work with NewJeans, which was a globally known group. And this doesn't necessarily reflect her real backing, because many startups in Korea register low capital at first, then raise funds later. So that's not surprising. But it does show that this is like a shell structure being set up before any large investment is brought in. And again, including restaurants, cafe, and travel services might hint at future brand building beyond music, like lifestyle businesses tied to fandom or artist branding. Like think of what SM Entertainment has done with cafes and exhibitions and pop-ups, just more expansive. And not just SM, but like the top four, right? SM, JYP, and YG. Of course, HYBE does exhibitions and a lot of businesses as well. So yeah, it's pretty broad and ambitious. Now, many people online are interpreting this as evidence that Minijin's move wasn't spontaneous, because this kind of broad corporate purpose list is typically drafted with legal counsel, right? And some people also see it as a soft launch infrastructure play in case she manages to recruit NewJeans or another artist later. I mean, we'll see. Now, what makes this even more telling is what surfaced online right after people began dissecting the registration documents. So netizens traced the company's registered address, 서울특별시 강남 District 논현로 159길 43, and found something interesting. So a built-in transaction record from a real estate blogger, this one, showed that the property at this address, 신사동 5531, which is the same location shown here in the registration document, had been sold for 6.6 billion Korean won. 660,000 man won. Okay? And the contract was signed in December 2023. Okay? To be exact, December 6, 2023. And finalized in April 2024, on April 24th. And the listed buyer wasn't OK, Minijin's company itself, but someone called Hee-jin Corporation, Ltd. And the purchase was partially financed with a 6.24 billion Korean won loan from the Industrial Bank of Korea. Now, again, this is found on like a building transaction blogger, but it's not 100% confirmed. But if it's true, this kind of changes the context completely because it suggests the physical base of operations for her company, OK, was secured more than a year before the company was even officially established. And that kind of timeline doesn't align with someone making a sudden, comeback after a court ruling because it points to careful long-term planning. And in the entertainment business, it's not uncommon to separate real estate ownership from the operating company, right? And big agencies often hold their buildings through separate entities for tax benefits, perhaps, and asset protection. And if this seemingly random company, Huin Haon, is linked to Minijin, if, or her circle, her camp, this could be exactly that kind of structure. And looking into this company, Huin Haon, gives more context. So the company was established in November 2023, right here. And it's officially registered as a management, consulting, and technical service business. And the list is addressed in Kurogu, Seoul City. And representatives are people named Byung-hun and Wi Chan-gu. Never heard of these names. And on paper, it has nothing to do with entertainment. But if this company is connected to Minijin or her backers, financial backers, it may have been set up as a property holding or investment vehicle. So we'll have to see. Now, these are also the photos that netizens dug up of the building in Shinsadong, Seoul City, and it shows something interesting. The property has clearly been under active construction and redevelopment for over a year. So here's a photo from April 2024. So the building is still standing in its old form, right? A fairly modest multi-unit structure. Then May 2024, construction begins. There's like visible scaffolding, demolition equipment, and workers on site. And February 2025, this year, so major construction structural work is underway, and the building has been largely cleared and is in mid rebuild. In August 2025, the structure is fully covered in scaffolding and tarps, showing late stage exterior construction or finishing work. So this timeline kind of lines up very closely with what's already known about the property transaction involving this random company, Huinaon, in April 2024, months before the Minijin agency OK was officially launched. And again, it doesn't prove any ownership link between this company, Huinaon, and Minijin. We'll have to see. But it does confirm that whoever bought the building began redevelopment almost immediately after the sale. And that suggests it wasn't a passive real estate purchase. It was a planned project with a specific purpose in mind. And by the time OK was incorporated in October 2025, the building was already in an advanced stage of construction, per this article. And if OK moves in once the work is done, it would mean the space was being prepared long before the company officially existed. And this fits, again, the larger picture that we have been piecing together, like broad business registration and pre-purchased Gangnam property and year-long redevelopment timeline, and this coordinated media push right before a major legal ruling. So individually, each of these details might not mean much, but together they kind of paint the outline of a carefully staged quote-unquote return that one that's been like silently in motion behind the scenes since at least late 2023. But still, there's no public proof linking this company, Huinhao, directly to Minijin or her investors, right? So we got to be cautious about that. But what is clear is that the building itself has been developed on a timeline that matches the strategic positioning of her new company. And the ownership and financing structure behind it, that's still an open question. So, yeah. And I was kind of curious where people were able to get these photos from. And it turns out that if you go to Naver Map and Kakao Map, so those two are the most popular map applications in Korea, you could see the timeline. For example, here is Kakao Map. It used to look like this. No, actually, it used to look like this. 2024 October. August. So here's August, and here's July. Okay, August on the left. Do you see it? Yeah, you see it. On the left, it used to be empty. Last year, August last year, and then it looked like this in July of this year. So construction is going on. And this is the Naver map. Okay, that's what it looked like in August of this year. So let's go back in time. Let's see, 2023. It looked like this. There you go. That's the address. 159 Gangnam District, 논현로, 159 길 43. So it used to look like this. Then, when was it bought? According to this blogger, 2023 December. That's when the contract was made, and then the transaction was complete April 2024. Okay, first let's go back to December 2023. December 2023. Does it have it? No, it only has October. Okay, then next in the timeline, April 2024. Okay, still looks like this. May. All right, there we go. It's gone. Poof. So 2024 April, the building was still there. And the transaction was complete on April 24th, 2024. But the next month, May, the building's gone. And then April 2024. Oh, I was saying. Let me take it back. April 2024. May 2024. July 2024. September 2024. This is pretty cool. And February 2025. Oh, wow. And then August 2025. This is the most recent. What about the photo that they found though? Hold on. Online. April 2024, May 2024, February 2025, August 2025. Oh, I guess they were moving around this map. Can I do that? Okay, now I can. Oh, all right. I guess that's how. Oh, yeah. This is the same, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. I used to play around with this when I was young, but it got more advanced now. Okay. 건물의 정보. What does it show? Okay, it doesn't show here. Anyways. Cool. Yeah, neighbor map shows more compared to Kakao map. Although this is pretty cool too, like the contrast. But here, the most recent update was July 2025. Okay. All right, there you go. Hopefully this was informative for you. So it kind of the progress of this building itself kind of matches the timeline and the pieces that we have, pieced together, the details that we have pieced together, based on what we know and what's out there. So here's where things stand. Hee-jin has her new agency officially, because it's a matter of just setting up, right? And a building that seems to have been prepared far in advance, and a flexible corporate structure that allows expansion beyond entertainment, and timing that is very hard to ignore, all just before the verdict that could decide whether NewJeans joins her or not. But none of this proves a direct link between that random company that we have found, Hee-jin and Hee-jin. It just shows that the groundwork was laid well before the public saw anything. Okay? So there you go. We'll see what will happen and how the court will rule on October 30th, although many legal experts say that it is very unlikely that NewJeans will win. And I've heard, and I actually saw, and I might make a video about it, that Hee-jin side, or NewJeans side technically, are trying very hard to win the case, such as some of their supporters sending petitions to the court and stuff. I might talk about it if I feel like it. But anyways, leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this news? And what do you think she has in mind? And has she already secured investment, you think? And what kinds of investors would invest in her project, given what we already know about her? So leave your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.